Will, obviously you've had a lot of success here. Is there anything you're approaching differently this off season or trying to get better at?
Yeah, I mean, always, as we approach the off season and approach the season, you always look at, the previous year and what things you could do better, as far as, in-game situations, technique, things like that. So I think always, yeah, always trying to find something to be better at for sure.
Yeah, hey Will. In practice, when you're kicking off to guys, is there anybody that maybe stands out to you as someone that looks like they could fill in Jameer's shoes?
Um, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really pay that much attention to who's catching the ball. I really try to focus on, hitting as far and high as I can, but we're going to have somebody that's really explosive returning kicks and punts for us. We always do, and I have no concerns about that. We have a lot of talented guys.
Oh, you had originally kind of planned to move on. What went into the change of heart, and why one more season here?
As I look back on my career, very, excited about what we've as a team been able to accomplish, and I just felt like I had more room to improve. Before moving on to the next level, and honestly, I didn't want to leave this place. So many people are. I've been super blessed to meet a lot of people here and build relationships that I've been able to build, and there's a lot of people across the country that would love to play here, and there's just something that I wanted to be able to come back and finish my career here.
Hey, what's up, Will? Thanks for being here. You had a costly tackle last year against Auburn. What type of feedback did you get from your teammates, and what do you remember about that specific play?
Yeah, that was a fun one. First tackle of my career. I got a little bit lucky. If he runs through that hole probably 10 times, I'll probably only get him 1 out of 10. But, it is fun. I think, the reaction, everybody kind of blew up a little bit. It was in the moment. I get a little, I play with some fire at times. So, my emotion kind of came out a little bit, but definitely a fun play.
Long snappers are usually forgotten as part of the specialist unit. Kind of, what can you say about Nealon? This kind of the energy he brings with you guys, and this kind of what's he's like.
Yeah, I mean, Nealon's been here. This will be his third season. He's continued to get better every single year. I'm very excited about him and what he's going to be able to do this year and next year, and excited for his future.
You referenced going back and looking at areas of improvement. What were some areas that you pinpointed, and what are you hoping to get out of this season?
Um, Last year, I think my biggest not issue, but thing that I could get better at was my kickoffs. As we got later into the year, when it got colder outside, I wasn't hitting as many touchbacks, wasn't hitting the ball as far. My technique wasn't as good as I'd want it to be, so that's something I really worked on this off season.
I know you still got one more year here, but have you had time to really kind of take stock and look at everything you've been able to accomplish thus far throughout your Alabama career?
Not really. That's not really that important for me, honestly. I like to stay in the moment. Really excited about this season, and you know, every season is a new challenge. Every season's different. You play with new players. You have new coaches. So excited for that challenge and the journey that we're going to be on this year for sure.
Is there a special chemistry between the holder and the kicker, and what do you do with kind of build that up with James? And is there special is there a way you like the ball to be positioned, and do you guys work on that kind of stuff?
No doubt, yeah. The chemistry between the kicker and holder in high school, college, and professional level is very, very important. You have to be able to trust your holder because without your snapper and your holder, you can't do your job. So that's something that we work a lot on. Every kicker likes their ball leaned differently or tilted differently. James knows how I like it, and he does it at a very high level. And I think we have a really good operation. We've gotten better from each year I've been here, and those guys, they're going into their junior year, and they've gotten better every single year. So very excited about that for sure.
Will, you got married in July or in January. How's your life changed since then?
Yeah, obviously a big life change. We moved in together, so that's been a little bit different. I'm enjoying it for sure. It's been awesome. Being in camp, we actually got to move out of the dorms today. We've been there for 2 weeks, so excited to go home, see her at night, and spend some more time with her. But yeah, it's been awesome. Definitely one of the biggest or best decisions I've made in my life for sure.
Just what have you seen from Connor since he got here this summer, and what can you kind of teach him? This being your last year, this being his first.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously got a lot of talent. He as coming in as a summer enrollee, it took him a little bit of time to get adjusted, as it does for everybody. So I'm excited to kind of teach him things, but also let him kind of figure out some things on his own. I think is important too, because everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have their different mannerisms. Everybody's going to want to go about their day and practice differently. So I'm for sure going to be able to give him tips and things that I do in my routine, but he's also going to have some things that he likes to do himself as well.
Will, going back to your tackle, how much do you guys practice tackling as kickers, or were you sort of just figuring it out live?
We practice tackles every now and then. I'm not going to lie, it's not a huge emphasis just because, we have so many good players running down on coverage for us that, honestly, I'm not going to really be put in that position very much. But we do, practice it every now and then.
Hey, Will, what type of mindset does a kicker have to have? Because sometimes I feel that people remember not only the kicks that you made, but sometimes the kicks you missed. So can you talk about that mindset that you have to have specifically as a kicker?
Yeah, just whether it's good or not good, whether it's after a single kick or after a game, you just have to sit there and reevaluate, watch the tape, and then you just have to move on from it. Because even if you play good, you still have have plenty of games left the rest of the season. You have to move on. You can't dwell on what happened in the past. And it's a lot of kickers talk about next kick mentality, and that's very important. It's very true. Something that the elite kickers in the NFL do it the best, and that's why they are the best.
Anything else? Thanks, Will.
Appreciate you guys.
You're with James, and then raise your hands, and we'll get the questions. We'll start on the right here with Nick.
Hey, James. Have to ask, of course, about your trip to Outback Steakhouse. First off, give us a review and also what'd you have?
I had the bloomin' onion to start. It was pretty good, pretty solid. That's what I've heard a lot since I've gotten here. Is you got to try the bloomin' onion. Then I had pasta with steak and shrimp, I think. And yeah, it was pretty solid. It was a good feed, something different. I'll give it a solid like 7.5, 8 out of 10. So. What was your reaction when Will said he's coming back for a fifth year, and just how excited are you to be back with him?
I was very excited. It was after the bowl game, and I was over in California with a couple of my buddies road tripping up the coast, and I went on Instagram, and he didn't tell me, and then I was reading, and I just thought it was a declaration, and then it said he's coming back, and I smiled and gave him a call straight away, and we talked it out. So.
Long snappers are a kind of forgotten part of the special teams unit. It's kind of, what's it like being around Nealon? And it seems like on social media he's a bit of a fun character, but what's it like with him in the room?
Yeah, I love Nealon. He's a great kid. We worked together since I've been here, so having him around, he's always cracking jokes, making it not as serious. In times we can do that, and it makes my job a lot easier when he's snapping well, which he always is.
Talked with Will about just the chemistry you have to have with him. How long did it take you to kind of learn exactly how to tilt the ball exactly the way he wants it, kind of set things up perfectly for him?
Yeah, so it took me a little while. My first year when I got here, they got me down holding with every kicker. So every kick is different, as he said. So getting with Will and having Will mainly as just my kicker has been good, just being able to figure out where he wants the ball, how he wants it tilted towards me. So it didn't take me long once that was my focus.
Coach Saban said when talking about you that you've gotten more consistent each year you've been in the program. Just now going into year 3, how much more comfortable are you as a punter?
I'm very comfortable now. Yeah, obviously my first year was my first time ever playing football, putting pads on and having a full live rush. So I was pretty nervous back there, standing there, didn't know what to expect really, still didn't really know how to read the rush or anything. And then coming into this year, I'm a lot more relaxed back there. I'm looking forward to going out there if we need to. But yeah, I'm a lot more relaxed, just trying to get my consistency there so I can just keep doing my job at a high level.
When you're going into a kick with Will, do you say anything to him, or is it one of those things where you make sure you don't say anything? Is there a superstition there?
I don't really say anything. We always just dab each other up, and then I'll get down into my hold. we're just always just trying to have fun with it and do our job the best we can and get out there and score some points for the team.
Back with Kyle.
I would imagine you grew up playing rugby. At some point, when did it become realistic, or when did you start thinking about playing American football?
So I grew up playing Australian football, so a little bit different to rugby. It's a primarily kicking base. But one of my friends from back home when I was playing country football, he started punting with our program in Australia, Pro Kick. And he was coming down to practice with like an Adidas dime or something, just kicking the ball up and down the field. And I looked at him and I said, that looks pretty simple. I can kick a ball pretty well over here, but I trained that, and then it took me a while, and about 12 months in was when I started to get a bit of interest with schools and stuff, so then that's when it became like real that I could actually come over here and play football.
From Kennington.
Outside of comfort level with live rushes and playing with pads, what tweaks or adjustments have you made in your punting style to become more consistent?
I think just really just trying to stay like parallel through it. Lots of the times in my freshman year and sometimes in my sophomore year, my swing leg would come through and it would come across my body. I'm just trying to stay through the ball and get as much purchase as I can on that football, just coming through it and shortening my steps, just everything I can do to get the most power I can with every kick.
Left with Katie.
Coach Saban talked about when he was in Italy this summer, getting Roll Tides there and Alabama being an international brand. Just how much in Australia is Alabama football something people are aware of, or maybe because of you have started watching?
It's gotten big over there. It's always been Alabama is the biggest one over there. You don't see a lot of college football down there. It's a lot of NFL teams, but I've been home twice since being here, and I'll be wearing like an Alabama jumper or something, and someone will come down and say "Roll Tide" to me. I'm like, am I in the right country right now? Like,
On the right with Charlie.
Coming from Australia to Alabama in the South, have you experienced any kind of culture shock or something that's maybe surprised you?
I think everyone's just a lot more nicer here, honestly. There's a lot more like manners and stuff like that. Growing up, we never really say yes sir, yes ma'am, but that's become a big part of my vocabulary now. So I think just those little things, and you guys cook your food a lot different here. You like to have it all fried, so that as well is a lot different.
There's been a couple other international players. I know the offensive lineman from Finland picked up a commitment from a linebacker coming from Germany. Is that kind of cool to see recruiting efforts throughout college football, but especially here at Alabama, kind of go on beyond the borders and find international players like that?
Yeah, it's always cool because I came here and it was me and Mechie. He was from Canada, so he sort of like talked to me when I first got here and sort of like showed me how I work around all the international stuff you have to worry about. And then now with Olas here, I'm sort of doing the same thing with him, and it's always nice to hear a different accent instead of an American one sometimes.
Anything else? Last one, Tony.
You talked about your punting form, technique and stuff. How often do you campaign with Nick Saban to kind of maybe let you go into some of those Australian football kicks? And is that,
We have that in our package, so we can do. I'm pretty versatile with what I can do. I can pretty much do any kick you want me to, but at the end of the day, it's the head coach's call. Obviously, I've done a few rugby kicks in my career, so see if we could do some more this year, or if we stay more in the pocket, we don't know yet.